Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So glad that you could join us this evening where we are continuing to look into this huge document dump that came out of the Ninth Judicial District State Attorney's Office in Florida in the case of the murder of Madeline Soto at the hands, say the authorities, of her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. Here is her mother right here. Today we are going to talk about two things. This might be a long one, so buckle in, y'all. Number one, we want to talk about the movement of Stephen Stearns on February 26th, 2024. We know what he says he did, but we now know what the evidence says he did. And those two things are very different from one another. So we're going to look at some maps. We're gonna kind of play around with that. And then number two, we are going to take a look at the crime scene. I think they call it a crime scene log or the crime scene report. So I've got like a bunch of PDFs to take a look at, a bunch of documents to take a look at, and then we've got some maps to take a look at. Okay. Now, just so you guys know, if you have not kind of been looped in on this, I've made available these documents to my patrons on my website. So if you just go to gavinfish.com, click on cases, then click on Madeline, you will find her case page. There's also a link directly to it in the description below. It's really, really easy to find. But the case page is everything that I have on the case so far, including the videos I've done, the case documents. There's a pretty good timeline down here as well. There's the audio recording of Stephen Stearns being interviewed. So yeah, there's just a whole bunch there. And these documents are for my patrons. But those of you who are not supporting me on Patreon, don't worry about it. That's why we do these videos, to go through some of these documents. I just like to make the documents themselves available to those who support me financially, and I deeply, deeply appreciate that. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. I want to start, and I wish I had 3 monitors. I've only got 2 monitors here. I really wish I had 3. And I didn't prepare like a presentation. I just wish I had that much time today. It was kind of a busy news day for me. But so you'll see me looking down, you'll see me looking over, but we're basically going to tell the narrative as the police told it as far as Stephen Stearns' movements, okay? And we start at 7:35 in the morning on February 26th over here on monitor 2. Now, while we're looking at this real quick, let me just pull this up real quick. When we talk about cases like this where we've got a lot of people on, I expect that there will be a lot of people that join us tonight. I ask if there's anything that you want me to read, anything you want me to see, please put GF in your chat, and that helps me to filter those things. For example, Gracie just says, let me hide this. I love GF and all the fish tank. Yeah, welcome everybody who's in the fish tank too. Glad you are here. We'll talk about the fish tank in just a bit. Okay. This is an incident report that was filed on February 28th by Detective Fisher of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. This gives us our first clue as to what Stephen Stearns was doing on February 26th. Here we go. We're going to read the first little bit. Okay, February 26th, 2024, 7:35 hours, so 7:35 a.m. Videos that captured the trash compactor on the property show a male determined to be Stephen Stearns wearing a red t-shirt and dark color hat worn backwards, arrived in a silver Lincoln sedan. Stearns threw a white trash bag filled with items inside the trash compactor before pulling away. A female, believed to be Madeline, is visible in the front passenger seat. Her head is visible, tilted onto her left shoulder. This is heartbreaking. and her mouth was open. She was belted into the seat. I think that he was trying to make her look like she might be sleeping or something like that. Okay, so that is 7:35, and then about 7:36. Okay, now the next PDF we move up to. This is a supplemental report by Orange County Sheriff's Office Detective Tagler. Now, Detective Tagler, if I remember correctly, was one of the ones that that interviewed Stephen Stearns. Anyway, he just notes that he knew that on February 26th there was video of Stearns. Oh, you know what? Stearns southbound on St. John Young Parkway and Osceola County line at 8:10 a.m. Now, if we go over to our maps, I have kind of drawn it right here, and I'm going to keep it kind of way back there for a minute because I want everybody to see the whole scene where Stephen Stearns allegedly drove that day. But here we are down here in the, what is that? The southwest corner. That's where their apartment is. He traveled about 10 minutes north toward Hunters Creek up South John Young Parkway. And I think that he was trying to make a route as if he had dropped her off at school. So that's what we know at 8:10. At 8:19, going back over to Acrobat, we're going to go over to, we're going back here. Okay. At 8:19, the Lincoln sedan appears at the front gate where the driver, Stearns, interacted with a security guard before being allowed to enter the gate at the front of the complex. Additional video collected from near the rental office, which captured the roundabout, showed the female believed to be Maddie in the same position as the previous video at 07:36, the exact same position. That makes me wonder, oh my goodness, that security guard, when he conversed with Stephen Stearns, he must have just thought, oh, Maddie's asleep. She's a 13-year-old and it's early in the morning. But the fact that she can be seen in the same position those two times is telling that she is no longer alive. And if we go over to the maps, he then, he spent about 10 minutes going north, and then he spent about 10 minutes going back south, right? Going back to the apartment. All right. 10:31, coming over to Acrobat. The silver Lincoln exited the back gate. The video captured the female still in the same position as the other videos, still in the passenger seat. So he leaves at 8:31. At 9:16, so exactly, what is that, 45 minutes later, he is seen here traveling eastbound on Thursday, February 29th, 2024, while conducting a canvass in the area of Gateway Avenue and Orangewood Boulevard. Detective Alicia, located exterior cameras at Exxon gas station at this address. The camera appeared to be pointed to the street. Upon review, located what appeared to be a silver car traveling eastbound at approximately 9:16 a.m. The vehicle appeared to have no tint on the windows, and you can see through the windows as it drives by. That's what she put in her report. So if we go back over to our maps, and I know we're doing a lot of jumping around here, then he drove from here at the apartment complex farther north up into this area over here. And I know I've explained this already, but I'm keeping it wide because he's going to drive different places. All right. So that was 9:16. At 9:40 a.m., we go back to PDF number 4 over here. And this is an incident report from Detective Jones of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Okay, so I'm going to read the whole thing. March 1, Orange County Sheriff's Office, Violent Crimes Detective Leonard Jones was tasked with assisting in the investigation. After Jones received a short briefing on the latest details of the investigation, he responded to the area of Destination Parkway and John Young Parkway to canvass for evidence. During that time, Jones responded to Holiday Inn Club Vacations located at this address. Upon arrival, Jones made contact with the business's corporate facilities senior manager, Jeremy Garcia, who allowed Jones to review surveillance footage from February 26th. According to the surveillance footage, Jones discovered that at 9:40 a.m., let's go over to our maps here real quick. So he's landed up here on the north side, and then he travels just a short distance southwest to this Holiday Inn. He gets there at 9:40. Okay. So at 9:40 hours, the target vehicle, a silver gray Lincoln MKZ with the Florida tag, turned onto the above business's property from Emissary Avenue, then proceeded to their parking garage. At approximately 9:41, just go through my notes here real quick. The vehicle arrived on the top level of the parking garage, then backed into a parking space. At approximately 9:42, a fair-skinned male wearing what appeared to be a dark hat, reddish shirt, and tan pants exited the vehicle from the driver's seat, then walked to the back of the vehicle and opened the trunk. The male then walked to the front passenger side of the vehicle, opened the door, then proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp female body to the trunk of the vehicle. At approximately 9:44, the same male subject entered the driver's seat of the same vehicle, then drove away. The vehicle was seen exiting the parking garage from the ground level and leaving the business's property onto Emissary Avenue. So we're talking about 9:45. Took him a minute to get to the top floor, probably takes him a minute to get down. So that's what happened. Now, at 10:05 a.m., it's noted in a PDF, but I can't find it. I jotted the notes down, but did not put the PDF name in there. But at 10:05 a.m., he had traveled from the Holiday Inn down south back toward Kissimmee, toward their home, right? So he's now right there on the Orange and Osceola County line again. At 11:48, he is seen in roughly the same spot. We don't know where he was. Well, police probably know where he was, but as far as the information that we have, he was seen there at 10:05 a.m. and at 11:48 a.m. He gets to this point right here, just north by about 10-15 minutes of their apartment. Then at 1:05 p.m., and again, this is one where I don't have the PDF, he is seen eastbound on US 192 and Pecan Street. So now he has gone from, Google Maps just has too much going on. He has gone from this area north of their home, and now he is headed east toward East Lake. I can't pronounce the name of that lake, this whole lake area. Okay. Now we're going to get to PDF 5. Oh, dang it. You guys can't see any of this. Guys, I'm so sorry. Okay. So this is where he's gone. First, he went south to this area north of their home, and then he headed east toward the lake area. Okay. Now, getting back over to the PDFs, we come to a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. Okay. This is a report. Orange County Sheriff's Office Officer Savelli writes in his report from March 4th, I was tasked with meeting with Kissimmee Police Department Detective B. Ilgen. It was learned the vehicle of Stephen Stearns, a silver 2010 Lincoln MKZ with the Florida tag number, was observed traveling on Old Hickory Tree Road as it passed Hickory Tree Elementary School, located at 2355 Old Hickory Tree Road in St. Cloud, Florida. I was informed the vehicle passed the school on Monday, February 26, 2024, at approximately 1:12 p.m. Right? So we saw him at 1:05 here. Saw him at 1:05 here. And then at 1:12, he is about 7 minutes farther into St. Cloud. Okay? So now he's actually approaching near the dump site. Okay? All right, getting back to Acrobat. Let's see. It traveled south towards Nolte Road on Monday, February 26th at approximately 2:17 p.m. Actually, let me skip that one. I'm gonna come over to this one right here. So this is a report that it actually kept the phone number of Mr. Karras in there. I've redacted that, but this is a report from Osceola County. It's an incident report, and I can't remember who this is, but anyway, at approximately 4 o'clock, I was contacted by Lieutenant Yeager, who advised me he was sending a male in a white truck to the command post to give me information regarding a possible area of interest. 16:05, so 4:05 p.m., I was contacted by Mr. Thomas Karras. He advised he had seen the news conference earlier this date and wanted to report, this date being March 1st, a possible sighting of the suspect vehicle from Monday, February 26th. He stated he saw the suspect vehicle, a silver sedan, pulled off Hickory Tree Road, and a subject with a tire iron in his hand, wearing a black shirt and green hat on backward, standing near the vehicle, and he had made eye contact with the subject. I bet Stearns was so nervous when he went to this out-of-the-way place to dump Maddie's body and then made eye contact with a witness. I bet he was so nervous about that. He stated he was not exactly sure of the time, that it was about 13:20 hours, about 1:20 in the afternoon. I asked Mr. Karras if he would mind stepping out of his vehicle and showing me on a map the exact location. Using my agency-issued laptop, I pulled up a satellite view of Hickory Tree Road around Al Britton Road, and Mr. Karras navigated the map to the location he saw the subject on the 26th. The latitude and longitude of this location he pointed out were noted, and he has the latitude and longitude. And then there was a little bit more. But if we go over to maps, let me bring you guys onto it so you can see it. This is the school that we talked about earlier. And then this is where he was seen by Mr. Karras. That's where we believe, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so that was actually between 1:56 p.m. and 2:05 p.m. And then we also see in Acrobat, going back one page, that let's see, at 2:17 p.m., the same vehicle passed the school traveling north towards Interstate 192. And then we see him westbound on 192 at 2:23 p.m., which is, we're now here. This is his final destination right there. So now he's seen up here on US 192, and then at 4:35 p.m. he actually arrives home. So it took him 2 hours to get from here to their apartment here in Kissimmee. Does that make sense, guys? So we go from here to here. Goodness, so I wish I had a better map. So from the apartment north and back, and then farther north, then to the hotel, then down south back toward Kissimmee, making his way west over towards St. Cloud. He's spotted at the school in St. Cloud. He is then spotted changing his tire down there off of Hickory Road in St. Cloud. Then he's spotted at the school again. Then he is spotted back up on US 192. And then finally he makes his way home at 4:35 p.m., which we see in this document here. At 16:35 hours, multiple cameras captured Stearns arriving to the trash compactor in a silver Lincoln sedan. Stearns is wearing what appears to be a blue shirt and a dark colored hat, so he's changed his clothes. Worn backwards, Stearns walked to the compactor, opened the door, returned to his vehicle. Stearns removed a damaged tire, what appeared to be the tread of the tire with no walls. Stearns threw the tire into the compactor. So that is our timeline of Mr. Stearns. Interesting that he got home just a few minutes after Jen Soto said that she was at the school to pick up Maddie. Okay. So that is what we know of his travels. Now, I know that was kind of disjointed. We're jumping around and so forth, but now we're going to get to the crime scene because Mr. Karras saw Stephen Stearns at that location there off of Hickory. What was it? Hickory. Oh goodness, Hickory Tree Road, which gave the police a place to look, right? Let us go to this document here, bring you guys up. And I just want to remind you guys that we're going to go through this document. It's about a 7-page document. We're going to be able to skip a couple things. But if you want to ask me a question or you want me to see something, please put GF in there. For example, thank you. Janez Elise. I don't even remember. You said that I pronounced it correctly last time, but now I can't remember how I did it. But Ms. Diaz, thank you very much for your super chat, and thank you for appreciating my work. I appreciate you guys too. Jennifer says, Gavin, do you think he got the flat tire driving in the field to drop her off? The gate was open and he really did get a flat. I can't imagine him trying to carry her across the road to the trees. Yeah, I think that he did get a flat tire while he was in the field. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think that he would have carried her a long distance. That would have been risky, right? Plus heavy. I mean, and please forgive the really, really bad choice of language, but I can't think of anything else right now. Dead weight, even when it's 100 pounds, is really heavy. And it's very different carrying a 100-pound person when they are, engaging themselves and maybe holding around your neck, carrying, and again, I'm sorry, dead weight is heavy. So yeah, I think he legitimately got that flat tire while doing that. It's infuriating. Brenda says, Gavin, I went to your website and watched the BBC episode Home Sleuth on Ellen Greenberg. Unbelievable, literally. Yeah, guys, Madeline's case is not the only case that I have a lot of documents on. There are cases that I care deeply about, including Ellen Greenberg, and Eric Richins is another one. Grace Holland is another one. David Elmquist, here's a very good example. David Elmquist was burned to death, and the authorities think that he did it to himself. Well, I've got so much here, including crime scene photos and investigation files. So if you like this kind of stuff, I'm telling you, my website is going to be one of your favorite new places. And thank you, Brenda, for listening to Home Sleuth. That was fun to do with the BBC. That was a lot of fun. Okay. let's go to the document here. Okay, this is the Osceola County Sheriff's Office Forensics Unit Crime Scene Report. The forensics tech's name is Jennifer Soto. Not the same Jennifer Soto, different Jennifer Soto. Okay. The FSU is the Forensic Services Unit arrived at about 6:23 p.m. They were gone about 10:33 p.m. And this was on March 1st. So we're talking 3 days after Madeline went missing. All right. They took 192 crime scene photographs. By the way, in the case file, this is part of the whatever it was, 986 pages, whatever it was that was released by the the state's attorney. They had many pages that were redacted completely. The entire page was just blacked out. And I imagine that a lot of that was photographic evidence. I did not include that when I put everything together for the website. Okay. The scene consisted of a large private property located west of Hickory Tree Road. The front gate of the field faced east of Hickory Tree Road. Okay. The image above depicts 5670 Hickory Tree Road as indicated by the red marker. All right. Narrative. On Friday, March 1st, 2024, at approximately, 4:51 p.m., I was notified of a death investigation by Forensic Supervisor Seda, who was requested to respond to Hickory Tree Road. I arrived on scene at approximately 6:23 p.m., met with Supervisor Seda and Kissimmee Police Department Detective Mark Morris. Detective Morris advised that a missing person investigation was initiated for Madeline Soto on Monday, February 26, 2024. A search was initiated, and on this date, Osceola County Sheriff's Office search team located the missing individual deceased at the location mentioned above. After conducting a scene walkthrough with Forensic Supervisor Seda, and conferring with Detective Morris, I photographically documented the scene, processed for latent fingerprints, and items of evidentiary value were collected. I wonder what those were. I was covering a murder trial last month here in my hometown, and the care that the Forensic Services Unit of the Pennsylvania State Police showed to approach the scene appropriately without making any mistakes as far as damaging or destroying evidence. They were able to locate a single silver hoop earring in basically a forest of bamboo-like reeds that were all like crushed to the ground. They were so good at going through that scene. So I'm curious. I'm sure that this forensics team did the same thing, and I wonder what those items of evidentiary value that they collected are. Forensic Supervisor Seda contacted forensic technician Hien Nguyen, who responded to the scene and assisted with Faro 3D scanning. Please refer to her supplement report for further information. On this same date, at approximately 9:27 p.m., medico-legal investigator Kirsten Robinson from the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office arrived on scene and took possession of the victim. This is pretty typical in places that are densely populated. In smaller areas, it's not uncommon for there either to be a coroner or there to be a medical examiner that will make it on scene. But in places where we've got large population centers or they've got a large service area, the medical examiner typically does not go to the scene, but there will be a medico-legal investigator who will do all the investigating on behalf of the medical examiner. And remember from an interview long ago here on this same channel with my buddy Kenny, who is a medical examiner. 90% of the report, the autopsy report, will be based on the autopsy. But according to Kenny, 90% of the opinion will be based on the circumstances of how the body was found. So it's very important that they have a very good investigator. And let me put this up just to remind you guys once again. Okay. So Ms. Robinson was there from the medical examiner's office. She would have taken photos. She would have done an investigation herself and then took possession of little Maddie. Man, let's not forget. Let's keep Maddie. Let's not forget her face. Okay, on Monday, March 4th, forensic technician Hien Nguyen arrived at the District 9 medical examiner's office to collect major case prints from the decedent. Refer to her report for further information. Observations. I arrived on scene at approximately 6:23 on March 1st and observed a scene to be secured with crime scene tape, and a crime scene contamination log was initiated. That log, by the way, guys, is part of this. You will, if you go to the website, we scroll down to March 1st. Let's see if there we go. So we're around March 1st. There will be, this crime scene contamination sheet right here. Okay, it's included in the file that was released by the District 9 State Attorney's Office. The scene consisted, by the way, guys, the State Attorney's Office was so accommodating in getting documents out of the office. It was fast. I think from the time that I sent my request into the office, once I had learned of the existence of the file, was that called Plunder True Crime? That I like that channel. I put in my request as a member of the media, and I think I put that in about 8 a.m. and by 11 a.m. I had it. And they were amazing to work with. Really, really good. Oh, and I love that. And I'm sorry to like get sidetracked on this, but I absolutely love it when public servants will serve the public, right? That they won't put extra hurdles in your way to get documents. They just do their job, and it's terrific when they do, because so many times when we are trying to get our hands on public records, we get fought for it. Okay. Contamination log was initiated. The scene consisted of a private property west of Hickory Tree Road, and tire fragments were observed east of Hickory Tree Road. Markers 1 and 2. Let me see if, real quick, see if they're, okay. So here are the markers, right? 1 and 2. All right. The property where the decedent was located consisted of a fence and gate enclosing the open field. The gate was observed opened. A row of bamboo trees was observed southwest of the gate. The decedent was observed on the north end of the trees. And while we've got this up, what I should have done, give me just a second here, guys. What is that address again? Let me go back. The address is 5670 Hickory Tree Road. Okay, give me just a second. Let me. St. Cloud, Florida. I'm wondering if we can see that gate. I think this is our place right here. So let me show you what I'm looking at. I think this is our gate. I think this looks like the area. So I mean, oh, there's our gate right there. Yeah, I'm facing southeast here. Anyway, the gate was open. All right, I think that is correct. I'm not sure, but let's go back. Okay. Okay, a row of bamboo trees was observed southwest of the gate. The decedent was observed on the north end of the trees. The decedent was found in between the bamboo trees and covered with dead vegetation, like he had cut down stuff or ripped stuff out and thrown it over her. She was observed in a prone position with her head face down and facing north. Both her legs were observed bent at the knees and facing south. She was observed wearing a green hoodie with a hood covering her head, blue jeans, and white socks. Now, didn't Jen Soto say that she was wearing black shorts? Isn't that what she said? Somebody remind me. Use the GF. Somebody remind me. Didn't Jen Soto say in the video, the body-worn camera video, that she was wearing black shorts or black pants? She was in blue jeans, according to the medical examiner or the crime scene investigator. Okay, medico-legal investigator Kirsten Robinson from the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office. And yeah, Lynette says that is correct. Wim says, yeah, that's correct. And Bree says that's correct. Jennifer Bizarro says that's correct. Cheryl says that's correct. Okay, so I think I got it right. Yeah. You guys are so quick. You're amazing. Okay. So Kirsten Robinson from the ME's office arrived at 2127, took custody of the decedent. Once the body was repositioned for further documentation, she was observed in a state of decomposition with visible insect activity around her mouth, left eye, ears, and right hand. Discoloration was observed on her face, neck, torso, back, and hands. There is a video on my channel from way back in the Gabby Petito case. I have a friend who is he's a professor of genetics and genomics at Penn State. His name is Dr. Matt Gruwell. He's a close friend of mine, and out of all the specializations in the world, he is an entomologist, so he's all about bugs, and he even teaches forensic bug stuff. I'm sure that's not the name of the actual class, but he teaches that. And I remember from that conversation, which is what, 2-3 years ago now, that and it's kind of gross to think about, but the bugs that lay their eggs and burrow into, decomposing flesh, whether it's animal or human, they are looking for the soft places and the openings, right? And that's why the mouth, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the like anal cavity, vaginal cavity, things like that, the urethra, those are all places of entrance. So those are the places where you're going to see bugs and where you're going to see faster decay as those bugs begin their developmental state in there. I know it's kind of gross to think about, but it's also fascinating. Okay, so discoloration was observed on her face, neck, torso, back, and hands. That discoloration, guys, would probably be livor mortis, which is the settling of blood. I know that you guys know this, but yeah, you guys are helping me. Forensic entomology, not forensic bug stuff. Forensic entomology. Thank you. Yeah, Deidre helps me out too. Thanks, guys. But that discoloration, I think, is probably livor mortis. If it is on her face, her neck, her torso, her back, and hands. I think maybe she was moved around a lot during that livor mortis stage, right? The settling of that blood. I'd be very curious to tell where that discoloration exactly was. All right, a series of 192 photographs were taken using a Canon EOS Rebel T7i digital camera, EFS lens. That 18-135 is just a standard lens. In fact, I've got that lens on my Canon EOS right over on the other table. Electronic flash. The images consisted of overall, mid-range, and close-up views of the scene, decedent, and items of evidentiary value. I'm so curious what those items of evidentiary value are. I'm sure that they got some of the tire because they would be able to match that with what he threw away and what the other tires are on his car, I think. Okay. Latent fingerprint processing. The following areas of the metal gate from the property were processed for latent fingerprints using the dusting method with black fingerprint powder. Negative results on the top 3 bars and on the north and south, interior and exterior. So they didn't get any luck there. A finalized sketch of the scene was completed using Pharaoh's own software. The sketch is not to scale and all measurements are approximate. So her body is here. That makes me feel like, let me go back to this real quick and see if there are any other gates in this general area that Google brought me to. I don't see any others. So I must be in the wrong spot. I don't see any bamboo either. Either way. Okay. Back to Acrobat Gavin. So her body is here between some trees covered with brush. They're the evidence, the tire fragments across the street. Yeah, that original question, do we think that he carried her? Man, that would be risky to do that. To park the car there and then walk in to drop her here. My guess is he drove in. He dropped her. It popped a tire. He changed the tire. Oh, let's see. Well, if it popped the tire and the fragments are over here, man, I wonder if he carried her in. I'd love to hear your comments on that, guys. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Let's see. The following measurements of the decedent was obtained using Ferrocene 2023 software. All measurements are approximate. Distance of body from west edge of Hickory Tree Road, 72 feet. Distance of tire tread fragment from the west edge of Hickory Tree Road, 35.5 and 37 feet. Items 1 and 2 were transferred to the Osceola County Sheriff's Office Evidence Unit, and item 3, which was the Ferrocene thing, was uploaded to Digital on Q, and that is the end of that document. Man, I want to go back to this. Yeah. I'm curious about whether he drove in or not. Let's go over here. Kelly K says yes. I think this is about whether that Jennifer corrected Stefan, right? She said they were black. Yeah. Let's see. Built to help. Gavin, does anyone fall asleep in a car towards the console? No, you tuck your head between the seat and door and cover your face so the light doesn't bother you. Yeah, I think you're right. Autumn, one of our amazing moderators and the admin of the fish tank. Autumn, let's get back to your comment here in just a second. Guys, if you haven't already, head on over to my website, and then there is a little fish up here in the corner. If you click that, you will find yourself on the fish tank. which eventually will load here. Wow, it took a while, but we've got about 1,500 members, and it's just it's our little group on Facebook where we talk about all sorts of things, all the cases we're covering, and all sorts of things. So please join us over there on the Fish Tank. You can get to it easily. There's also links on my channel now to the Fish Tank, just so you guys know. Okay. All right, getting back over here. Autumn's question, or Autumn's statement says, I think he tried driving in. He had a flat tire. Okay. Jenna Hay says, Gavin, I think he drove in and got something in the tire, continued to drive on it until entirely blue on the opposite side. Yeah, that makes sense. Bree says, Gavin, look for the memorial site that is posted to Google so you know exactly where he dropped her. Okay, I will look for that. Lynette says, that is very odd to correct him when she now says she did not see her that morning. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Exactly, Lynette. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yes. She first says she saw her daughter getting ready for school. Then she said, no, she just heard her in the kitchen. She changed her story twice, I think. This is one of the reasons I did the video I did yesterday. I think that Jen Soto has charges coming, and soon. So yeah, thank you for that. Let's show Maddie, because Maddie is the one that we're here for. A couple super chats. Super chat $2 from Built to Help for the mods. Thank you very much. And then super chat from Courtney Hink, sending you much love from Arizona. Thank you both. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see if there's any other questions. Nope. No. Oh, one that just came in. Jane Elise. I think it's Jane's. I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. I try to be very good at this, but I'm just bad. Gavin, that man was so disrespectful to the girl. It's sad and disturbing. Yeah, it really is. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today. This one was a little shorter than usual, but I'm still in the middle of my workday, and I've got to get back to work. So let's see. One other just came in. Ruby Slipper says, can DNA be collected in genes? Yes. Yes, it can. In fact, genes are a very good material because, as it was explained to us in court last month by our local forensic it was by a local DNA technician. In order for touch DNA to be there, there has to be both touch and friction. And genes are one of those materials where friction happens when you touch it, and it's rough, right? So it will slough off skin and sweat and so forth. So yeah, it's likely that they're going to be able to tie him with DNA. In fact, we know that there was a search warrant authorizing DNA evidence. They took a buccal swab from Stephen Stearns. They also took pictures of his genitalia because of the photographic evidence. So there is a lot. There's a lot. Wim says, thanks, GF and mods. You all rock. My mods do rock. Brenda says, GF, I think she helped him dress her and lied to cover it up, rubbing his shoulders. Well, that makes me wonder if there will be Jen's DNA on the jeans. Yeah. Lynette says, yes, and jeans are porous and can absorb liquid instead of repel it. Yeah. So I think it's good that she was wearing jeans. Good. I mean, there's nothing good in this, right? There's nothing good in this. But as far as being able to prosecute, that's a good thing. GF, do we have the video of SS moving Maddie's body from car to trunk? We do not have that video, but we have evidence that police have that video. That video has not been released. No. Mooney, do you think Stephen Stearns will be offered a plea to keep Maddie's memory out of the public eye? I think that the entire justice system is designed to get people to plead to things. But I don't think that they're going to let this guy off. He's never going to plead to the death penalty, right? He will probably plead to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And yeah, I think that they will offer him a lot of different options to plea. And if he's smart, he'll take it, and we won't have to drag this out. It really depends on his personality. You know, the murder case that I covered that I was telling you about here in town, that guy was so dead to rights. That there was nothing. There was no defense that they could put up that would have convinced a jury that he didn't do it. There was so much. So much. And yet his personality was, let's go through the trial, because why not? I mean, let's make her husband look at those photos, and let's make her daughter and her son look at those photos. Let's make a jury do that. That was his personality. And I guess it just really depends on Stefan Stern's personality. Good question, Mooney. One more before we go. Thank you, Nifty50, for the super chat. Guys, the way that you guys support me here on YouTube is just remarkable. I just love you guys to death. I'm so thankful for you. Thankful for you who support me by watching and sharing and liking my videos, by putting them on social media. I love you guys who are channel members, who are patrons, those of you who buy my mods a cup of coffee. If you go over to my website, you can see a place where you can click on support, and you can scroll down and you can buy my mods a cup of coffee. And I know several of you have, including Mooney, who is amazing. And Deidre has. Oh my goodness, you guys are all amazing. So please and thank you. Please take care of my mods, and thank you for doing so. I can't say it enough, and I say it a lot. I deeply appreciate all your support. With that, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Thank you so much for joining me. I think we've still got more in this treasure trove that we want to go through, so we'll probably be continuing coverage of the Madeline Soto case. I have heard rumors that there's another dump of documents that might be coming, but I don't have any confirmation of that yet. So if there are, I promise you, I will get them from the state's attorney's office, and I will share them with you guys. All right. With that, bid you adieu. Thank you very much for being here. I will see you on the next one. Please take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.